Hello and welcome. This is Astrology with Jo, and I'm glad you're joining me today for our lunation reading on the upcoming Taurus New Moon, which we're having today. It's occurring at about 6 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So the day of the 17th of May for the full day is going to be pervaded with this new moon energy. It's falling at 25 degrees 57 of Taurus, so just about 26 degrees. Have a look at your natal chart to see if you have that number anywhere. It just means that you may be feeling this new moon more strongly. We've been having a change of pace in the season of the bull. Taurus is an earth sign and a fixed sign. It likes to feel stable, secure, abundant. It's a sign that likes to do things well when it does do things. It's a sign of the physical senses, the basics in your life that make you feel secure, like your things, possessions, money. Taurus also rules finance and value, the balance between riches and poverty, as well as the material aspects of your life that are crucial to survival. So resources like food, money, shelter, but also it covers the other end of the spectrum in terms of the indulgences and luxuries of life, like beautiful possessions and experiences that enrich your time here on earth, like art, good tasting food, comfortable sofas, massages, glorying in the wonders of nature, whatever this means for you. So, this new moon can be a good time to set out some plans and intentions around what you need or what you feel a lack of versus what you want and what you already have to feel grateful for. And the new moon, like all new moons are, it's a seed point. Here it's in particularly fertile ground because the moon does well in Taurus. It likes being in this sign. So any intentions that you have around these Taurus themes that I've been going through, like your wealth, money, finances, abundance, prosperity, this is a time to set some seeds, make some plans with the intention of those seeds, those plans to bloom into something prosperous and enriching, whether materially or emotionally, metaphorically, etc. Now, Taurus, on that note, is also associated with value and worth. So there's a facet of this new moon that can help set new things in motion around your self-esteem, your self-worth, how you value yourself, your time, and your resources. And by reflection, this can then manifest, which is a very Taurus word, in how others value you, your time, and your resources. So new moons are very dark, they're silent. It represents a void space like a womb, at once empty, but also full of the potential for budding life. So this can be a time of deep reflection on these Taurus themes in your life. So having a closer look at your abundance mindset, of having a mindset of lack, this can yield some very interesting fruits at this time by exploring these things. And it's an invitation to step within the inner spheres of your emotional body, to sit in the silence, to find the answers. And that's what new moons are about. It's a blank slate, an empty field for you to set some seeds of your choice to grow from a place of authentic intention via that turning inwards. So Taurus is a very tangible, very touchable sign. So it can manifest very literally, whatever it is that you're intending at this new moon. And as I said, the moon's happy in this earth-based sign. So it can actually be very physically productive, very fruitful. And the thing with the earth signs is that you do have to put in the physical miles to get the results. So you have to do something tangible. So whether this is something like putting your loose change in a piggy bank to start the ball rolling on your new intention to save more money, or whether it's putting a sticky note on the mirror that reminds you of how much you're worth, how precious you are, no matter what you look like, to attract more abundance into your life. Or if it's setting a timer to have a tea break every day, to enjoy your favorite snack and beverage, just to bring some more peace and gratitude into your day. These are all Taurus themed things, and they're all physical actions. So a good way to set a Taurus intention, or any earth sign intention, is to actually physically do something that can represent or feed into that intention. So just before looking at the lunation itself, if we have a look at the chart of the moment of the new moon, we can see that it's quite a significant day astrologically already. So we can also see that every personal planet is involved in this lunation. So we could be feeling this new moon quite personally. It could feel busy for multiple reasons, not least of which is the involvement of Mercury, planet of communication, interactions, community, commerce, and quotidian life, a conjunct this new moon. Not only that, but the day itself, in terms of astrological transits, it's got some significant things occurring that's going to be coloring this new moon story. So this is also the day that Mercury first conjunct the new moon will then enter its home sign of Cancer. So the Sun-Mercury conjunction is already a significant part of this Mercury cycle. And Mercury changing signs is also quite significant on its own, let alone the fact that it runs straight into Uranus in Sedna in Gemini. We've already spoken about Uranus in Gemini in the last seasonal forecast. It's a dynamic placement. It's still fresh. It's only just ingressed into Gemini at the end of April. So Mercury is going to be highlighting this new blast of Uranus air as it enters Gemini on this day as well. Suffice to say that Mercury is important here. It's making things feel buzzier, busier, connections coming through, things are synchronizing, but I'll talk more about that in a moment. Another thing that we have with this new moon here is that it is at the midpoint between the last two personal planets. We've got Venus on one side, Mars on the other. Venus in Gemini, Mars in Aries. All of these planets are in orb of a tight little triangle there in consecutive signs via semi-sextiles. So we also have Mercury conjunct the new moon and Venus, ruler of the new moon, in mutual reception. So yet another link of these personal planets to this new moon. Okay, so we've got Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, all the inner planets, all the personal planets, part of this lunation involved in a tight bundle of energies. So that's why we might be feeling this new moon in quite literal everyday ways, which quite frankly, I feel that this new moon is buzzing with magnetism and potential. And I'm going to break all of this down for you in a second if none of that whatsoever just made sense. Just going back to the day astrologically, I keep getting sidetracked. This is also the day not only of the new moon conjunct Mercury, not only of Mercury entering Gemini, coming into contact with Uranus and Sedna, but it's also the day that Mars perfects its conjunction to spiky Chiron in Aries. When I talked about this transit in my Taurus season forecast, which you can have access to if you become a Patreon or Substack member. If you don't want to become a member, it's on sale for $11. When I spoke about this, Mars conjunct Chiron and Aries, I spoke about how it's bringing in echoes from the previous new moon on the 17th of April, which was on this Chiron Eris conjunction, stirring up wounds, stirring up vulnerability, sensitivities, and opening up either a can of worms or opening up the potential to heal or both. And this is about stepping into your bravery, your self-confidence, starting something, pioneering into something that's truly you, but something that could also be quite confronting as well. So thinking back to any of those issues that were coming up on the 17th of April, so 1 month ago on the last new moon, we've got Mars now coming through to activate that same degree with Chiron and Eris. So you could be feeling something coming through strongly that you were moving through 1 month ago on the 17th of April. This itself, this Mars conjunct Chiron, is also wrapped up by aspect to this new moon due to those close semi-sextiles between these personal planets and the new moon forming that intense little mini triangle, as I said before. So those themes from the last new moon are very strongly linked in with what's unfolding at this new moon. So think about what was happening for you a month ago, what was unfolding then, and how you could be feeling echoes of it now, and how you can now progress through those issues or those themes coming up in more solid, practical ways now that we're in the sign of Taurus. Basically, we've got an astrological soup. So at first glance, all you see on the chart is pretty much Mercury conjunct the new moon. We've got Ceres conjunct the new moon, of course, but I'm going to talk about her later. But as you take a closer look and you see that all of these inner planets are connected, and with the activation of this synchronicity from the previous new moon, all tied into this new moon, there's a tangle of stories here, all bound up together. And coming back to Mercury, Mercury seems to be the most common thread running through these stories. It's conjunct the new moon. It's in mutual reception with the ruler of the new moon. It's at the midpoint between Venus and Mars, which is activating the last new moon degree. Mercury is like the common connector here, and that's very fitting because Mercury is the storyteller, the spokesperson, the talker, the exchanger, the communer, the commoner, everyday person, the commuter going from one place to another, the connector. So this new moon is connecting a lot of dots here. And that's what you could be seeing unfolding in your life. There could be a lot of synchronicities coming through. And if you have Mercury prominent in your natal chart, or if you are Mercury ruled with either strong Gemini or Virgo, or if you're in a Mercury perfection year, this new moon may be landing quite strongly for you as well, just given the prominence of Mercury right now. And as Mercury is conjunct the sun and the moon, because remember, the new moon is the conjunction of the sun and moon, Mercury is at once illuminated by the sun and obscured by the moon. We've got a strong theme of duality running through, and information is a big one here. So what intelligence, what facts are vital with the sun at this point in time? The Taurus energy is really good for a solid black and white fact analysis, getting the facts sorted practically. And there may be stories flooding through here, lots of balls in the air to choose from. And this new moon, while Mercury is still in orb of this conjunction of the sun and moon, it's a good time to take the time to deliberate properly before Mercury speeds up into Gemini and all the choices are starting to be made and going in fast forward. Now, it's pretty important to note that some astrologers say, particularly the classical astrologers, they say that when a planet is in range of the sun, its influence is reduced in some way. Others say that its influence is heightened or enhanced. I've heard astrologers say that a planet is sitting on the throne of the sun when it gets close enough. In my experience, when a planet is in orb of the sun, that planet's influence is heightened, is illuminated, but that's not to say that there aren't different experiences of this. So Mercury has just passed over the sun and has been enlightened with something. Ideas could be popping through, bubbling up from underneath what you didn't see before. And this new moons are also about things that are hidden, which is what the moon can also represent. So this can go in different ways. So facts, logistics, means, resources could be multiplied or very important, taking center stage, and or they may be frustratingly hidden or untouchable for whatever reason, like you're unable to handle them in the way that you'd prefer. So it's like getting a notice for a bill and not being able to find the reference number, or having multiple invitations on the same day and having to choose which one to go to and needing to communicate appropriately with all the rest that you don't accept, like these kind of information overwhelm, needing to sort kind of situations. And the biggest theme with Mercury here, besides facts and information, I think is about making decisions, particularly because of that strong Gemini influence that we have, and that the ruler of this lunation is in the sign of Gemini. Mercury is about having options. Mercury and Gemini can be about not always going down the straight road. Mercury can be a maverick in the right conditions, but in Taurus, it can be more predictable, like because it's a rather more conservative sign. So there's going to be options here, new options, new choices. And the trick here is in using this grounded, solid Taurus energy to deliberate practically about the options that you have, because things are about to accelerate. Now, we have Mars in Aries, semi-sextile from one side of this new moon. Mars and Aries can be about making the choice and taking action on it, particularly in ways that could feel courageous or pioneering, but also combative with difficulties and confronting. And with Chiron here conjunct Mars, this can also be making decisions and taking actions in potentially wise and healed ways, like overcoming things that previously you felt weakened by in order to progress. We've got Venus semi-sextile this new moon from the other side of the lunation in Gemini, and this is the one that's all about the options. Which one, which one? So it's certainly a choice point here. There could be friction around taking a decision. There could be themes of self-confidence coming up again from a month ago from that last lunation and the influence of this Mars-Chiron in Aries. Again, this could be around self-worth again, because we're in the sign of Taurus. Venus in Gemini is the ruler of the new moon and of Mercury at the time of the new moon in mutual reception with Mercury. So there's an open line of energy flow between these two, despite the difficulties that Mars might be posing here. So Venus and Mercury, they want to be prosperous, peaceful, connected. And Mars is sort of egging them on to take the decisive action. There could be something confronting you by doing so, and there may be a need to value yourself and put yourself first in order to take the choice. With the Gemini influence along with the Mercury influence, it's possible that things might not be what they seem at first. Mercury is a dualistic sign, so there could be something dualistic going on that you might not be seeing at first. And what's growing within with this new moon, it could be altering and changing as it grows. And as Mercury moves away from the new moon to enter Gemini with that Uranus activation, something unexpected might occur. So this could be a massive light bulb moment. I mean, Mercury is first conjunct the sun, the major luminary of our solar system, and then the awakener with Uranus. So we might even be awakening to something either new or something that was below the surface with the dark nature of the new moon and with Sedna there conjunct Uranus, or something could be starting to unfold that isn't what you thought it was at first. So there's that side of it. But with this Mercury-Uranus connection, this is also a genius signature. This is groundbreaking ideas, brainstorming, or a storm in the brain. Whatever this is for you, the new moon can be a time to really be practical about your ideas, these genius ideas coming through. Go with your senses, though. Go with your gut. There's a lot of mental energy in play here. But while we're in this Taurus energy at this new moon, the impetus is always going to be geared towards what you sense, what you feel, rather than what your mind is telling you to do. Rather than making decisions from a mental place, it's making decisions from an instinctive place. So because this is a very significant period of time, this could also be a time of starting to set stones in place, but building something that you're willing to keep building upon. Taurus is a fixed sign. It's slow and steady and unyielding. It's tenacious and at times very stubborn, which is sort of coming into conflict with this Mercury influence, Gemini influence of needing to have all options, needing change. Maybe with Mercury conjunct the new moon, it's about starting to see new perspectives rather than in a cut and dry way, black and white, right and wrong. I mean, Taurus doesn't like change, but change is in the nature, not only of Mercury, but also the moon itself. The moon is constantly changing phases. It's the fastest moving body in our astrological solar system. So this choice point, this change is something, it's something that it's happening. It is happening. And the new moon can be a way to consolidate the way that you're seeing what's unfolding, the way that you're seeing the changes, and trying to take something of value from it. Just take however that lands for you. In the world at large, what have we got? The finance is going to be a big one here because Mercury traditionally does rule trade and commerce. Taurus rules money. The moon is also itself linked with the exchange of goods and trading. It's used in stock market cycles as well as in other financial realms. So resources are likely to be a massive topic as well. Taurus is the first earth sign of the zodiac. It's fixed, it's grounded. It speaks to the literal material resources of planet Earth. So the environment and the resources of the Earth itself could be a major news headlines coming up around this time. Major asteroid Ceres is also conjunct this new moon, as I said before. So Ceres is goddess of the grain, the harvest, season, the cycles of the earth, and she can speak quite literally of food. So issues around food, availability of food resources will likely be a major talking point as well. And in myth, Ceres created the seasons. So autumn and winter were created as a reflection of her grief in having her daughter stolen. So when her daughter was returned to Ceres for half of the year, 6 months of the year, spring and summer would come with this return. So the seasons, cycles of life, grief and letting go, as well as feeling a lack and a loss, can also come with the Ceres influence. Now, Ceres in Taurus works really strongly because it's a very compatible energy. Taurus, that grounded, earthy, prosperous Taurus energy is very compatible with this Mother Earth goddess. And this can be the side of her, though, that doesn't want to let go because Taurus is fixed. So the shifting and the choices around you could have you clinging to the familiar, doing your best to do what you can to just feel secure. And this could be holding on to things that you know are safe, but which could be changing and shifting beneath your feet, and you don't have any control of that. Ceres does have an abundant side as well, especially in Taurus. So this new moon could be a wonderful time to just celebrate the gratitude for having what you do have and the ways that you are already abundant. So while also knowing at the same time that there are some things that we cannot control, change is the only constant. And this Taurus new moon is reluctantly telling us that no matter how much we may want to keep things the same, to everything there is a season. So perhaps this is about finding abundance and riches in the new decisions that you're taking, or changing your perspective on how you view lack or loss or grief. And it can be a very good time if you're feeling like you're spiraling out of control and there's too many options and you don't know which way to go, or things are changing too fast. It's a really good time to ground into your values, though, because Taurus does speak of your personal values, and it's about strengthening your sense of self-worth and thereby strengthening those values. So maybe a shift in perspective is what you need to help your values themselves evolve. On a more facile level, the ruler of this lunation is in Gemini after all. This could also just be a lovely time to enjoy yourself, connect to other people, enjoy your senses, have a good meal, get a massage, enjoy the richness in your life however you choose to, even if it's just feeling the ground beneath your feet or literally smelling the roses. Yes, there is that more pokey influence of Mars with Chiron there. So maybe taking some time out to pause and still your senses can really help in maintaining your footing and not letting your mind or your senses run away with you at this time. So that's it for the Taurus new moon. Again, that was exact this morning at 6 a.m. We've got a whole day of this influence. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time, so adjust for wherever you are. If you are a Patreon or Substack member, you do have access to my tarot reading for this new moon, so head on over to check that one out. It's a very cute and wholesome one today. If you don't want to become a member, that's fine. You can get it for just $7 on my Patreon shop, and any of my other forecast readings are $11. Or if you want the membership, it's just $22 a month if you're interested. Otherwise, I hope you found this forecast useful and insightful. If you think anyone else would find it helpful, please share it with others to keep spreading the amazingness of astrology around. I mean, how cool would it be if everyone just used this stuff in their everyday life? Personally, I think the world would be a better place. If you haven't, please do click the like and subscribe buttons on the YouTube to support my channel so that I know someone is watching and enjoying, and to ensure that I can continue to make these forecasts. All my links are in the YouTube blurb thing, Patreon, Substack, Instagram, all that. So go check out those places if you're interested in signing up for more astro news. That's it. So thank you so much again for being here. Enjoy your Taurus New Moon day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Ciao for now.